দর্শক, আমন্ত্রণ আন্তর্জাতিক সম্পর্ক উন্নয়ন বিষয়ক RTV নিয়মিত অনুষ্ঠান ডিপ্লোম্যাটিক জোনে। আপনাদের সঙ্গে আছি আমি সৈয়দ আশিক রহমান। আমাদের আজকের অতিথি বাংলাদেশের রিপাবলিক অফ কসোভো রাষ্ট্রদূত গুনের উরেয়া। Very welcome, Your Excellency, at Diplomatic Zone. Before starting our discussion, let us watch a video on your beautiful city, Prizren. Really beautiful, Excellency. It's amazing. Hope one day I will be there.
Kosovo has also another parts, very beautiful mountains, very beautiful cities. But this one is one of the oldest city in our country. But also
This is one of the oldest city.
Oldest city, yes, in Kosovo, but also in Southeast Europe.
Great. Well, Excellency Guner Ureya, as far we know, this is your third interview in broadcast media, and you worked for a radio as well. What is your feeling?
Yes, in fact, this is my third broadcast media interview here in Bangladesh. But in the meantime, I had also some interview for
other channels,
from other countries. Yes, it's a good feeling to be here. Let's say part of Bangladesh.
Great.
To serve here in Bangladesh, because Bangladesh is in fact a very friendly country for foreigners, and they are respecting too much, especially diplomats.
Great.
And of course, we feel very nice here. For that reason, you are encouraging us to work more, to build new relations, not only relations between our countries, but also our communities, between our different organizations, businesses, etc. For that reason, yes, I feel privileged to be here in Bangladesh and to
That's
serve
great.
as
And
ambassador.
how long you are here?
I'm since August 2019.
August?
Yes.
2019.
Less than 2 years, I say 1.5
It's almost 2 years you are here in
Yes.
Bangladesh.
Yes.
So, what is your findings
about
Bangladesh, about Bangladesh people,
But as I
about our
mentioned,
community?
they are very friendly. They are very nice. You have also young population like Kosovo, and also institutions. They are very friendly to Kosovo, to us. For that reason, as I mentioned, I feel very nice here. You have a beautiful country, green. You have very interesting places also to visit as foreigner. Yes, it's good to be part of this country for a few years, yes.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much for your observation. Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, you have a high mission to represent the Republic of Kosovo in Bangladesh. Would you please share your experience with us so far?
In fact, I worked in different capacities both in Turkey and after that in Kosovo. I started to work as a translator and journalist first. After that, I became also some managerial functions.
Well.
And after the independence after the declaration of our independence, I became a part of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In meantime, I worked also in a few institutions, both I worked on local level, capacity building of new municipal units in Kosovo, because we had a decentralization process there. After that, I used to work also as an advisor in the central level in our ministries. After the declaration of our independence, I became a part of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Right. And one first mandate as a diplomat, I served in Ankara. In fact, for 2 terms, I served for 2 mandates in Ankara as a deputy head of mission. I was deputy head. After that, I became a head of a department for economic diplomacy in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Kosovo.
That's great.
This is my first post as an ambassador.
As ambassador in Bangladesh.
Yes.
Well, Excellency, Dhaka and President are enjoying excellent bilateral relations. How would you anticipate this relationship further in the coming days?
Yes, in fact, we have very new relations, but until now very excellent, very good relations. Bangladesh recognized us in 2017, and we signed a joint communique for establishment of our diplomatic relations in 2018. Right. And immediately after that, we decided to open an embassy here in Bangladesh. And since, as I mentioned, in August 2019, we are here, one of the newest embassies here in Dhaka. But we were not lucky because after we started with some activities, few activities, so you know the problem of the pandemic and affected also to us. But in general, we are trying to keep our relations, good communication with all institutions, especially with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. As of our first address, we initiated a few agreements. We signed our first MOU, Memorandum of Understanding for bilateral cooperation with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In the next few days, we will fix a date to sign another agreement. We have a text of this agreement for cooperation between the Foreign Service Academy of Bangladesh and Diplomatic Academy. We negotiated this agreement on cultural cooperation. It's up to the ministers of culture of both sides to decide, but as I mentioned, pandemic affected also in this issue. We will fix a date also to sign this agreement between Ministry of Culture of Kosovo, Youth and Sports of Kosovo and Ministry of Cultural Issues of Bangladesh. We initiated also agreement on economic cooperation.
Economic
cooperation. This is very important, especially for our economic and trade relations. And we have also one another draft agreement. I hope we will conclude this very soon. It's agreement for visa-free for the holders of diplomatic and official passports. Especially this will encourage also to have more bilateral visits in both countries. Yes, we have lots of opportunities. I am trying also to communicate with a local level in order to, especially to find opportunities to cooperate bilaterally, but also in international platforms like international organizations, city organizations.
Excellency, we'll talk about more opportunities after a short break. দর্শক দেখছেন আন্তর্জাতিক সম্পর্ক উন্নয়ন বিষয়ক আরটিভি নিয়মিত অনুষ্ঠান ডিপ্লোম্যাটিক জোন। এই পর্যায়ে নিচ্ছি বিরতি, ফিরছি একটু পরেই। সে পর্যন্ত আমাদের সাথেই থাকুন। দর্শক আবারও আমন্ত্রণ ডিপ্লোম্যাটিক জোনে। কথা বলছিলাম বাংলাদেশের রিপাবলিক অফ কসোভো রাষ্ট্রদূত গুনের উরেয়ার সাথে। Welcome again, Mr. Ambassador, at RTV Studio.
Thank you again for your invitation.
Before our last break, we were talking about opportunities. In your view, what are the potential trade developments with your country, and what do you think on RMG and pharmaceuticals opportunities with the Republic of Kosovo?
As I mentioned before, we have very good, let's say excellent relations But unfortunately, in a trade relations, we must do more. In the last 3 years, including 2020, which was very affected also by pandemic, we have a very modest exchange of goods and services. We have around 11 million exchange of goods. For that reason, we must work more. So me personally, I am working more on this topic, in order to encourage business persons from both sides to work closer with each other. There are lots of interests in both sides. As I mentioned, we initiated agreement and economic cooperation in order to start and to organize first joint economic commission meeting and to identify all the fields with interest for both sides. I had a very nice visit to the Federation of Bangladesh Federation of Chambers of Commerce and Industries. Yes, together I had contact with our head of Chamber of Commerce of Kosovo, and we initiated also one MOU between them, which is very important, not only state-to-state level, but also business organizations to communicate closely with each other is very important. Another step we are planning to take in the future, of course, in coordination with Ministers of Foreign Affairs and respect the institutions of both countries, also to initiate agreement for avoidance of double taxation, which is very important for the businesses. We have lots of interest, especially their interest to work closer on ready-made garment papers, yes, and pharmaceutical sector. I hope we will have also opportunity to promote your very qualitative jute in our region, Kosovo, and other countries. I am trying to encourage our business person also to have interest on jute, because Kosovo, when you looks like a small market with 1.8 million. But when you look a little bit broader as a region, we are part of the Central European Free Trade Agreement. Also, we have agreement since 2017. A stabilization and association agreement with the European Union, and this kind of agreements provides us the opportunity to export goods and services to these markets with the joint ventures. I hope Kosovo and Bangladesh joint ventures, we will have more opportunity. Yes, I hope we will double, maybe also triple our trade balance, trade exchange with the time after the rehabilitation of the pandemic. I hope we will have these opportunities.
Well, Excellency, as a Muslim country, Kosovo might join the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC. Do you have any thoughts on this?
In fact, as a majority, we are, of course, with a Muslim majority, but country established on the basis of secular values as a country. We secure all the religious freedom for all religious communities in Kosovo. And we are proud of our constitution, which provides these opportunities. But on the other side, of course, this platform is very important for us. We had, regarding the relation with the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, we had lots of interaction with the member states. And as an organization, they supported us in different platforms. And in the ministerial meetings of Ministers of Foreign Affairs, in the resolution of the Organization of Islamic Countries, so they put the need for the recognition from all the member states of the organization. For that reason, as a first step for us, it's important to close this chapter with all member states, all of them to recognize Kosovo as sovereign and independent states. Then we will look forward for our new steps regarding this organization. But we have a very good relation with Secretariat and with many of member states of the organization. But unfortunately, few of the member states, they still didn't recognize our country.
Excellency Ambassador, in your view, what is the best way for Kosovo to achieve recognition from other countries? And what are the obstacles?
Yes. recognition is one of the top priority of our country, not of our country, also of all actors inside our country is very important. As a ministry, of course, as you know, this is a reversible process and it's a reality in our independence of our country. So far, 117 countries they recognize Kosovo. This is in fact, very good number. But of course, we have also some obstacles. In order to eliminate this kind of obstacle, of course, we are trying to work more and to keep better relations with all the international, with international subjects that supported Kosovo. Also with countries which we don't have a formal recognition, but somehow we have a communication with them. In the future, I hope we will have more recognition and we will become, our final aim is to create good relations with all the members of the United Nations. United Nations.
Yes. Well, Mr. Ambassador, mostly Serbia claimed that they would never recognize the independence of Kosovo. Do you think this attitude can be changed?
Unfortunately, before they say the same also for some other countries in our region. But with the time, they saw that the best opportunity to have better relations in our region is to accept the reality. For that reason, we are continuing dialogue process with Serbia under the mediation of the European Union in order to normalize our relations with the aim to have to get recognition from their side. Also, on 4th of September, we reached an agreement. We signed a pair of documents with Serbians signed with a mediation of the United States in White House, especially for the economic normalization of our relation. But as I mentioned, with the intermediation of the European Union, our final aim is to get a recognition from them as soon as better, also for both sides, for us and for Serbia.
That's great.
For full normalization of our relations.
Well, Turkey has launched an initiative on peace building in the Balkans. How do you think this initiative may help ensure a peaceful environment in the areas?
In fact, all constructive initiatives are mostly welcome in our region in order to have more cooperation between us. But institutionally, we are continuing our dialogue process with the mediation of Brussels. For that reason, first of all, we must continue this process in order to reach a final agreement with Serbia. Of course, both Kosovo, Serbia, other countries, we have good relations with Serbia, with Turkey. All their initiatives for the peace of our region, especially in economics, it's very important to have more economic relations. It's mostly welcomed in our region, yes. But as I mentioned, the main dialogue process is going through Brussels, because all the countries of the Western Balkans, they are in the process of integration to the European Union. Yes.
Excellency, how do you support Kosovars in diaspora to keep their sense of belonging to Kosovo, especially in a foreign country?
In fact, we have excellent diaspora like Bangladesh has. Almost one third our population, our citizens, they are living abroad. And they had a vital role in our country, especially development of Kosovo. So they had a vital role during the fighting for our liberation of our country. They are supporting us with remittances. But as you mentioned about the ties, to keep their sense of belonging to Kosovo.
Exactly.
We have very strong family relations in Kosovo, like in Bangladesh.
Great.
This is our strongest, part in order to keep these relations, and it's easy to maintain these relations. But in other side, it's important that our institutions, they take in the last few years several initiatives in order to offer them some facilities, some education, complementary education, language, learning Kosovan Albanian language especially, learning about Kosovo culture, also with the government of Kosovo initiated for the formation of the business network of Kosovan and Albanian diaspora. As I mentioned, right. We have 90% of our population, they are Albanians. Albanians, and with this initiative, we include also other Albanians from our region in these platforms, which is very important for the economic future of our region and our country. But also we created different networks, like a network of physicians, Kosovan physicians, Albanian physicians, network of Kosovan lawyers, and etc. For that reason, they have a very crucial and constructive role for the building of our country. Also, we as institutions, we are trying to keep these relations even stronger and to use this as an opportunity for the development of our country, but also for the cooperation of our country with the European countries, especially and other countries, including the Canada, USA, and other parts of the world.
Excellency Ambassador, we are at the end of the program. Any final thoughts you want to share with our viewers? Bangladesh,
in the last few years, you have a tremendous growth rate, in average 7 to 8%. In Kosovo, in the last few years, we have 3.8 to 4.2%. You have a young population, we have a young population as well. We have the youngest population in Europe, 70%.
Great.
But we must have more mobility to visit with more each other, to contact more, to have more interaction, to know more about each other. You are doing a great job for the promotion of our values, but also me personally, I am trying to keep a good relation with the journalists. So in Kosovo as well, through our Minister of Foreign Affairs, encouraging him also to have some programs about Bangladesh.
Great.
It's important also to promote Bangladesh in Kosovo as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for
the best. Thank you again.
Being with us.
Thank you
finding your valuable time. Hope to see you again in different discussions.
Inshallah. Thank you.
দর্শক, ইউরোপের সর্বকনিষ্ঠ দেশ রিপাবলিক অফ কসোভো মুসলিম সংখ্যাগরিষ্ঠ দেশটি কয়লাসহ বিভিন্ন খনিজ সম্পদে সমৃদ্ধ। কসোভোর বাজারে রয়েছে বাংলাদেশের তৈরি পোশাক, পাট শিল্প, ওষুধের মতো পণ্যের চাহিদা, যা তৈরি করেছে রপ্তানির সম্ভাবনা। মাননীয় রাষ্ট্রদূতের কথার সূত্র ধরেই আমরা বলতে চাই, আসছে সময়ে বাংলাদেশের সাথে রিপাবলিক অফ কসোভোর দ্বিপাক্ষিক সম্পর্ক আরও উন্নত, দীর্ঘস্থায়ী এবং অটুট হবে। এই প্রত্যাশায় শেষ করছি আজকের ডিপ্লোম্যাটিক জোন। এতক্ষণ আমাদের সঙ্গে থাকার জন্য ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে।
For more updates, subscribe and press the bell icon on YouTube app and never miss another update.